shot for okay, get us a shot.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to Fire, to Yellowjackets Live, the Monday morning murder podcast. We are here once again, me and my lovely co-host, a whole Lottie love today. And we are here to discuss episode 3 of season 2, titled Digestif. And I don't know if that's a French pronunciation, but maybe because we
Yeah.
were getting a lot of French vibes. Maybe I should have checked that.
No.
But
Well,
anyway, so how are you doing this morning, Mandy? Or Lottie?
hey, hi
Lottie Licious.
girl. So good to see you. Thank you for always just having me on. I mean, when Fire calls, I just jump at the chance to get on board with such an incredible Fire, person like you, says Walter. um, but yeah, I'm doing good. I am really excited to get into this episode. I've rejoined the Twitter sphere and started getting more active, and I'm like, now I'm addicted again because we have all these great things. I'm loving the start of this fandom. We're getting a kickoff in the great direction. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Twitter fandom for Yellowjackets is really great. I know they have like a huge following on Reddit also. I just can't get on Reddit because it's just I'll get sucked into the into the
yeah.
ether. But Twitter is fun because there's just a lot of people having a lot of fun and being silly. So I love it.
But most of all, no drama.
No drama.
I got my Monday morning, no drama.
Exactly. No drama podcast. Here, let's pull up our lovely cover photo. So today we're going to talk about Digestif. It was a very eventful episode. Oh, and let's real quick, we'll say hi to the chat, to everyone.
Yes.
Hello, Mrs. Duncan McCall, Miss T. Nice to see you. Thank you guys for being here. And everyone else who's here watching, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, I guess it's for some people. I'm just in Alaska, so I'm behind the times.
Yeah, we're 3 hours difference.
I know, it's a whole daytime. It's like 9 a.m. for me.
Which is funny because I told Erin I don't wake up till usually about noon anyway, but it's my noon. But I was like, it has to be afternoon, and she's a morning person. She's like, oh, it's right at noon. I'm like, come on, girl. I'm at like when I say noon, I mean like 2 hours. I'm on Miami time still, even though I'm
like, I mean 2 p.m. I just can't. I'm such a morning person. It kind of works though. Being
but hi, Mrs. T. So I was recognizing you last night. You were saying some really great comments in the Antler Queens podcast, which we were checking out. That was the first time I was in it last night, but I was definitely loving Miss T's comments. And hi, CC, my girl. How are you?
Yeah, the Antler Queens, Kelly is really great. She's been doing some great work for Yellowjackets. She's been doing her channel since last year, or season 1. So definitely check her out. And I'm probably gonna end up going on her channel. So keep an eye out for that. So if you're not subscribed, definitely check out the Antler Queens. And she does a lot of really fun stuff. And she did do that awesome live stream last night. We were both there and it was super fun. So definitely catch up on that one.
All right. Well, I want to talk first off. Like, let's get this rolling. Because I want to talk about Digestif, like just the name in general, because I just thought about this last night and I was like, I thought there's more. What's in a name? There's more to this than the name, So I really got into this like whole thing because a Digestif, like traditionally, is alcohol, which we also call spirits. So there's something there, maybe. I don't know if it's a play on, if they're trying to tease us, but anyway, like a digestif is normally given after. Aperitifs are before, digestifs are after, and they are like fermented or broken down or sweeter or aged, like usually whiskey, spirits, things like that. But the whole point is that they attack like the enzymes to help you break down things. So obviously they're breaking down Jackie. They're breaking down the reactions of what they did. So, and then the fermentation, like, I don't even have my nose up yet, but the fermenting thing, hold on, wait a second.
I like that. That's a really good point,
Yeah, so they're getting a grasp of it. And like the thing about digestives is I'm still looking, where did my notes go? Excuse me 1 minute. But the thing about it is, they're there. That they like digestives were normally brought for people to like just elongate the party, to give you something to do like after. for after dinner affairs, they're supposed to reconnect the
Oh my
communion. It's a communion thing of people and shared experiences. So, celebrating the occasion. But also like when we look at this way, it's like the fermentation, it's just something that like well, okay, so cultured butter, where I'm trying to get this is like cultured butter, and we get that comment from later on from Jeff about wanting to turn the butter. So it takes a while to build that. So I feel like there's a lot of different things in there that were thrown at you that you didn't really recognize until like my third time watching it, that
God.
are all about digestives. And then even Misty, when she mentions the bone broth, well, gelatin and bones and the bone broth is a huge, huge thing, and they offer um, like I said, they're traditionally with spirits, but that's also digestive. It's actually one of the best digestives that it's out there because of the gelatin.
Really?
So we're getting a lot of these little tag clues, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure the writers did it on purpose, but I'm
Yeah.
seeing you. I'm seeing the little things, and I'm definitely appreciating them because, like it's all in the details.
That's excellent. I didn't even you must have snuck that note in because I didn't even
I
see
did.
that. And so that's great. I love that. That's a really fun detail. And totally, it makes sense, especially because every character in this episode is sort of it's like the worst hangover you've ever had, but
Yeah.
in a whole unique kind of way, And so yeah, I love that. That's
And
great. They're all kind of
so,
interpreting it, and then also they have the baby shower, so it's almost like an extension
mhm.
of the
And
bacchanal.
the fortification, like wine is usually fortified, like the digestives, and fortification is not just the meaning. Like when I looked up I actually looked up Webster's dictionary, like on
Mhm.
fermentation and fortified, and like just these words that have different meanings than other than the food. But like fortified means bring a group closer together, and fermentation is the same. It's like culturally building. So it was really just like
Totally.
a thing.
I love that. That's excellent. Great catch, Mandy. Good job. I love that. Yeah, the whole thing with, Misty and the bone broth and, honestly, a lot of people are put off by that
Oh
comment or,
no.
by that idea, but honestly, it's really a smart idea. They should have actually done that and, tried to get Coach Ben to at least drink some of the bone broth at the very least.
Yeah, and like the thing about it too is that bone broth is like one of the most nutrient things. A lot of people use it for diets when people are sick. When I
Mhm,
was undergoing chemotherapy, that was like I had this
mhm,
whole bone broth packets with extra nutrients and stuff because it's all in the bone. So
mhm.
it's really a great thing for you. And Missy, when she does notice it, she says, "Oh, but we can just drink it slowly. We can take a little at a time." She does mention little clues, subtle context clues about the digestives.
Mhm. Oh, Misty, we have a lot to say about her for sure this episode. I when I was rewatching the episode, I started taking notes and it ended up just like notes, notes, notes about Misty and Walter. I'm just like, oh my God, so much going on with her this episode.
I ship
Even though
them.
she's pretty low key. But yeah, well, okay. So I love that. That was a great catch, Mandy. Great detail. I love it.
It came to me at like 2 in the morning last night.
I know. I'm like, I was up until like midnight doing notes. When did you write that? So that's awesome. Okay. Well, let's see. So let's jump into it then. While we're kind of on the subject of Coach Ben, let's talk about him. So we start out the episode with Coach Ben and with his boyfriend, Paul. And he's having a flashback memory of the two of them and they're in the kitchen and it's interesting because when we look at Coach Ben, when we look at him throughout season 1, there's the scene where he like gives condoms to Travis.
Mhm.
He's like, you need to protect yourself if you're out here with all these women and stuff, and Travis is like, weren't we just going to Seattle for like a couple days? Why are you bringing like, Costco size supply of condoms or whatever? But hey, Seattle in the
No,
90s. So
wait, I want to remind you, we talked about this one time. I like remember we thought that Coach Ben and Travis's dad were a couple once. I think that they were like might have been doing it, because why did he have all those condoms? Like, and it kind of makes sense.
well, also, and what if
little.
Yeah, maybe that's what drew like some animosity between Travis and his dad, because and also when they're leaving for the trip and like his mother and his father are like saying goodbye to one another, the mom is just very like, no thank you, she doesn't want to kiss from the father or anything. So that's a really good point.
I
Dang,
know,
man,
like,
you're on it
yeah.
this morning.
Oh my God, it never stops.
But yeah, no, and so there's a lot of interesting points, like because we see the details, and there's actually a lot of beautiful interactions between them, because you can see like, okay, he's Coach Ben is obviously like dying. He's really in a bad way. He's laying there. He's suffering, and he has no strength left in his body. And yet his memories are of, obviously he's thinking about food, but it's of this soup that his boyfriend had made, and he was just in his own world, doing his own thing, planning to go on this trip, taking all these condoms. He's probably not planning to commit to Paul and this kind of thing. And so it's just kind of this really sad moment where he's reminiscing on the choice that he didn't make and the soup, and he's like, God, what I wouldn't have give to have that soup right now, is probably what he's thinking. He probably would do anything to have that stupid clam chowder right now that he just completely ignored. And so it is kind of like very heartbreaking and sad. So, and then of course the cumin comment, because they had to.
The cumin coming. Can we say that word?
I think so, hopefully. But
yeah. I'm sorry, dirty.
Cumin chowder. Anyways, who puts cumin in?
Oh my God! Wait, let me tell you. Have you ever heard Mrs. Murphy's Chowder, the 1960s song, where they?
No.
I think she like cuts up her husband and eats it in the chowder. It's like,
Ooh.
I just remember this is like fourth grade and we were singing it, but like Mrs. Murphy's Chowder. I have to look it up, but anyway.
Honorary mention for the the playlist this week, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get to see sort of inside Coach Ben's life and sort of what he, where he's at mentally, because he kind of alluded to he had the boyfriend, but that there was kind of maybe something going on with them, or they were broken up. And then also with just the fact that he was taking all those condoms with him, kind of shows that he wasn't very like invested in their relationship. And so it's it was nice to see that for Coach Ben, and also like where his mind is, especially he says that line about the girls where he says they're like a bunch of little savages or something like that. And meanwhile at the end of episode 2 they're all like savagely eating Jackie's body and that kind of thing. And so there is sort of some parallels there. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sad for Coach Ben. Obviously, we all have our ideas about what's going to happen to him. If he's
plot twist, he's the antler queen behind the
scenes. But he's starving and wasting away, and he made that choice to not cannibalize. And I guess I can kind of understand, he still has that much civility left in him, where he's still the teacher, at that point. And so there's still like this authoritativeness that he feels like he probably has to hold on to, and that's why he refused partaking, or at least partially. But also it's like, dude, when you got to survive, do what you got to do. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think that this storyline with him is going to get some, some morality to it. Like, do I have values I want? Which actually, I was just joking about it, but at the end of the day, maybe he will end up like giving in, because a lot of this is like, you get a lot of Greek references in this, and we're getting a lot of Roman things and like allegories and things like that. So all these stories are about that journey, that passion. And so I would like to see that twist. And I think that we're getting a lot more of his character for a reason. So it's definitely interesting where we're going to go. But I would like to see him give in. Like, I want to see later on, like him just like, whatever happens, just veg out to like become a lush, become, God, or what's it called? Gluttonous
Yeah.
in his thing, because we remember last season we see him come out, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, and yelling out like, hear me, mom, hear me, God, I'm gay, and like you see him like let it out and go, and I mean that was one of my favorite moments of his character. So
Totally.
yeah.
I like that you say that he's like questioning his morality, because, you know, as you know, we grew up in the 90s, and I mean,
Oh, it's so different.
to say, but like in that time period, you know, gay people were thought of as bad or immoral or that kind of thing. You know, they're making immoral choices and that kind of thing. And so I'm sure, you know, in his mindset, because we see him struggling even with the idea of basically coming out, you know, moving in with Paul and coming out as like them being in a relationship together. He's struggling with that because of that very thing, where there's like a morality question at that, you know, point in history. So I like that. That's a really good point. And then, you know, again, with the more they're out in the wilderness and those constraints aren't, you know, holding them back or, you know, tying them down, then he has more freedom to just say, I'm gay, you know, and be happy and be free and be himself, and not have to limit his desires or his life choices because of, you know, what society says.
Yeah. And I like just shout out to like the you know the gay movement like at that time, like, you know, when Ellen came out and Melissa Etheridge, and then I don't know if you guys remember The Birdcage. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and just like such a different thing. And this new person I follow on Twitter now since yesterday, I think it's like at the Original Goth or something,
Oh yeah,
but
they
she,
have a great account.
yeah, and they have this whole like movement, like the thing about 90 or thing about Yellowjackets fan is you can pretty much like post the word gay and then post any picture with it and it works and you get like 50 likes. And I love that because like, I mean, right now there's a lot of people, like I got somebody, like I said something was gay, but not in a derogatory way. I was like, yeah, like this is thing, because I'm a huge RuPaul's Drag Race fan. I'm like, I'm a stander. So, but people are just like so shocked about it all the time, and they're like, oh well, let's cancel her. Like I'm like, no dude, like you can say these things. And the 90s is just like so open about that. But
yeah, well, I grew up in
like
Seattle at that, you know, I mean, that's where I am from, and so for me it's always been so
grunge.
it's just always been, you know, there's gay people, there's grunge. I
Yeah.
grew up like knowing a trans person from the time I was a small child. And so, you know, it's a very freeing place. And so you can kind of see why Coach Ben might embrace that, you know, knowing that he's going to Seattle. He's like, oh, I get to go to like the gay capital of, you know, the 90s. So it would be something fun. And like he's sort of using an excuse of the girls need him and yada yada. And yeah, that's somewhat true. I mean, it is his job, but also, you know, he's looking for an out, and you can see the way that he really regrets that so much through this episode and through his kind of flashbacks of.
Yeah, they do really a great time of just imposing the times, and you know, not just the music and all the nostalgia things, but like they're everything, and the set directors and the writing and what they're doing with the show is just phenomenal,
Well,
with
because they even have
invoking the spirit. But also, like, I do want to say RuPaul is like one of my all-time favorite like role model of my life. But one of the quotes, we're all born naked and the rest is drag. And actually, I don't know if you all like, I'm a Game of Thrones a Song of Ice and Fire person, but I started off as my alter drag ego is Miss Ridiculous, and then also I have Denizel Targaryen, which is my that's my drag. She's my drag queen star.
Yeah,
So Denizel Targaryen.
Denizzo
Anyway,
in the house, maybe Venizzo someday.
no.
No, but speaking of Ty and Van, you know, too, you know, we saw that in season 1 when during Jim coming, they come out, they literally come out, they come out
So
together. They're a couple, and Coach Ben is so proud of them. He goes to them and says, great job. Like, I'm so happy for you guys. And
I
it's
know.
so sweet. So
It really was, and yeah, it definitely was. Oh, Miss T says, "You better work." And I want to say hi also to Luna, Cascade, and Thanos. Thanos
yeah.
has, if you see Thanos comment, I have a vague idea that the only adult post-accident female character that's deceptive or cooking and eating the food is Shauna, and the rabbit she kills, and I think it's intentional. Maybe, yeah, because yeah, they're right. I don't know. Because you see that Ty is like, is this me? Is this vegan? Or is that, and she spits it out during her political parties and things like that. So
yeah, I definitely
Billy
think,
Porter, yes, Luna.
yeah, well, I think there's something very significant to Shauna, obviously Shauna killing the rabbit, I think is very, very significant. Obviously these women all have animal connections and animal familiars. Ty is connected to the wolf, Misty's connected to birds. We saw potentially Nat being connected to the moose, the white moose, which is a sacred animal. And so with Shauna and the rabbit, obviously the rabbit is also connected to Jackie. And Jackie has a lot of rabbit symbolism, even all the way up until the end when she's getting her hair braided. She's got the floppy rabbit ears. And so when Shauna is killing the rabbit, there's some huge symbolism with that because, we see her getting the little rabbit figurines from Jackie's family, her parents, every year because Jackie loves the rabbits and yada, yada. And so it's kind of, Shauna dreads that at this point. She doesn't like the rabbits. She doesn't want to be connected to that. And she even says in that joke that Jeff tells about the hot dog and the bun, where she's just like, the bun's tired of having its identity tied to all of these things. And so, Shauna is really looking for a way to have her own identity. And we see that again in this episode where she's like doing some really crazy stuff. But yeah, I definitely think there's, some significance to her cooking and eating it. And then also it's just kind of like reliving her Jackie trauma, which she's totally just caught in that trauma cycle that she just is reliving over and over again. But I do think she was out of it.
Okay, so I feel like we need to follow the notes, but I do have to say anything. Yeah. That's actually a good point, Luna. We haven't seen her parents or her home life. That's a really good point. But so rewatching it this morning, I was just there's a Lottie says about the bees, how they all swarm around and keep her warm in the winter, and then they eat her. And that what a like juxtaposition or like kind of similar thing to Shauna and Jackie, because Jackie was a queen bee and they didn't keep her warm. She died. And now they're all keeping Shauna warm and the baby warm. Or maybe the baby's the queen bee, who knows? But like, whoever the queen bee is, but Shauna, the whole fact that they're keeping her warm, no one eats Shauna's food. Leave her alone. Like, she's fine. Like, they're protecting her to the point where is she the new queen? And I don't think that a lot of people think saying Nat is. I would like that eventually to happen in the future, like in where adult Nat is with Lottie. I would love for Lottie to start falling from her. She feels like she's the queen now, I think. I think we're all kind of feeling that way. But if Nat kind of has this whole awakening system in her storyline where she actually gets healed and then takes over Lottie's like projection as the queen, because Nat's starting to see all these like blood things again in her visions, which, is it spiritual or is it just she needs her meds? Who knows? But I think that's why it's such a great writing, because it leaves it up to all of this theorizing, theoretical ideas we have.
No, absolutely. Like, I think we saw in this episode, definitely Lottie believes that she is the queen bee. She thinks no matter what, she's in charge. And I do think that she is behind like everything that's going on. I think she's, obviously she was behind getting Nat kidnapped, which I think is going to trigger Misty to try and, come in. But then also I kind of am starting to suspect she might have even been behind sending Adam after Shauna, because I really feel like Adam targeted Shauna. That was not just a perchance, crossing paths kind of thing. And then also with Ty, we talked about this last week where there's some suspicion of if it's not Ty who did the shrine, the sacrifice of Biscuit and all of that, someone else did that and sort of framed Ty, so that Simone would find that. And so I was, who else would possibly do something like that? Well, we kind of suspected maybe Phil Bathurst, who is that her, competitor or whatever in the political stuff. But what if it's just Lottie? Because Lottie would know the symbol. Lottie would know Ty's connection to dogs and to wolves. And you know, the doll had its eyes like pulled out or whatever. And so what if, you know, all of those things, like Lottie might know all of those details. And so it would be really interesting to see if perchance that was her that is framing Ty or triggering Ty to try and get that stuff to come out. Knowing that, you know, because it seems like Van and Lottie have, you know, their relationship in their younger years seems to be, their bond is getting stronger. Van seems to believe the things that Lottie says, and she's kind of team Lottie, although she loves Ty, but you can see that's where like their divide is going to happen. And then now we have the suspicion of, you know, when older Van comes back into the picture, is she on team Lottie, or is she just off kind of doing her own thing? She doesn't, you know, she's just living her life trying to stay away from all of it. Or is she, you know, potentially secretly like still connected with Lottie, you know?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I've been having, sorry, my Bluetooth, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because my keyboard went out. I've been trying to fix it, the Bluetooth. Yeah, so I definitely think that, yeah, Lottie thinks she's the queen. But she's not. Like, I think that like subtly she's just, you know, she's going to lose his power. And I think that we're going to see all this like recycling and new queens come, because that's how life is, you know. Everything has a purpose and time and an end, and queens get, that's just how it goes. But you know, one fails, another one takes over.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I don't know if I believe though that she's behind Ty's thing, because like the fact, well, I guess she could get someone down in the basement when they're not home, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that Ty does have that multiple personality thing going on.
Yeah.
And I also like, I plan to write or we plan to do a video about the what kind of mental illnesses or things that they can have from the crash or from this incident. And I think each of them have one. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but my cousin is. So I have an uncle who's a doctor. I know a guy. So therefore I'm qualified. No, but I really have, like, you know, my family has a lot, and I struggle with some things too, like depression and things. So I've seen a lot of it in my life. And, you know, no one's perfect. We all have different things going on, but I would love to do a video where we dive more into that. Another time.
Well,
But
and
I
one,
definitely
you know,
think that like the Adam thing could be cool. Maybe even Walter, like, you know, we'll see.
oh, I have a lot of thoughts about Walter, but we'll get into him. But yeah, I think, you know, that's one of the great things about this show too, because obviously, um, like we saw it touched on with Lottie because she had sort of pre-existing mental conditions, right? And she was medicated for it. And then going to the wilderness, she got off her medication, and she, you know, she tried to acclimate, and she seemed to do pretty well. But, you know, as she goes back into society, she seems to kind of have held on to that, the place that she was in the wilderness. You know, she's constantly lived there, where the other girls have tried to move on, or, you know, I don't know. But they really can't, you know. So they're all struggling and faking. Meanwhile, Lottie's kind of living her truth. And so there's something that's unique about the way that Lottie operates that the other girls should, you know, probably take note of. And I think that they all are going to end up at Lottie's, you know, compound at a certain point in the season, because we've seen that kind of in the trailers, that they're all dancing together around the fire and that kind of thing. So I think that's Lottie's mission, is to sort of, you know, reconnect them with their truth, you know, with what really happened to them, and that there is no true fully moving on because they went through such an incredible experience. So but you know what's really fun too, when you mention those ideas about the, like, before this show, I was covering the show Servant, and that's a huge theme, is like trying to figure out, is this just a mental condition that these people have, or is it, you know, something more? Is it something supernatural, or, you know, Yeah. And I love toying with that idea because there are so many mental conditions that are so prevalent in our society at this point. However, we are also incredibly disconnected from nature and wilderness and that kind of thing. So that's another like interesting juxtaposition to look at this lens, through this lens. So yeah.
So in the chat, I wanted to say, what made me laugh? Oh, Luna Cascade says Walter is sus, not who they say. So I have a now 6-year-old, and he is calling me sus all the time. He's always like, that person's sus. Man, you're so sus. Like, everything is sus, so it makes me laugh. But yeah, I think it is sus. And then Yasi Sufri says, why I thought Adam was hobby. So that was definitely a huge theory going on in season 1. And, I thought so too. I at first I did, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, no, the showrunners came out and said that it's not. There's a video floating around on YouTube about it saying that, that they debunked that one. They thought about using that, which honestly I think is a great theory. So if it's not him, I think it's something much more complicated. And then that's where my mind starts to think, if he's connected to Lottie and Lottie sent Adam after Shauna, then, his mission may have always been to impregnate her. Because I think she's pregnant. Sorry, I didn't get that far. My big theory about Shauna
I like
is she's pregnant. So prove me wrong. All right, but you let him come inside this house. Inside this house. How many times?
Extra spicy cumin.
Exactly. So many times they said, "How many? You let him come inside your house, Shauna?" So I really think.
I guess. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then also, in episode 1, I want to say, when Shauna and Jeff and Callie are sitting at the dinner table and they're all eating dinner, and Callie says she's going to go outside and cook a veggie burger. And as soon as she says veggie burger, Shauna goes, oh, and like gags and coughs because she's not eating a freaking veggie burger. She's eating some bloody meat. That's what she's into. So I just thought that was like another great hint. And also her just crazy, irrational emotions that she's got going on right now. Going and trying to shoot some people just in the name of saving Mr. Schwoozums. Come on. That's a pregnant woman.
I just bought new cross trainers. They're in there. I need my cross trainers back.
We need those freaking cross trainers.
Oh my God, we need to make a meme. Don't fuck with my cross trainers. Like when shot with a gun. Don't fuck with my cross trainers.
For real.
But wait, no, I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I want to before we go on, like the mental illness thing. So I definitely think, it's also like the mental illness mixed with the age. Like I don't know. I'm about to be in my midlife crisis. I kind of feel like I'm going through it now, but like they're all at the age where midlife crisis is a thing where they need to relive, they need to get up. It's a normal thing. So I don't know if it's like, a mixture of all of it. Like you need to feel free again and becoming themselves. And they're using, like, I think that this whole storyline, every character has their own in-depth, visions and healings processes and things, but it's the whole storyline's about them accepting what came into the past and realizing the truth and coming together to heal on this. And even though we think Lottie has healed, I don't think she has. And so this is where I'm going in with Luna Cascade asks is, do you think is that she's a mental difference or she's psychic and her parents just want to fix? So I'm really into like energy. Like I do a lot of like Reiki healing. I'm into like these kinds of things, visions. I get down on that. I won't go any deeper because it's, don't want to scare people off. But anyway, we get into it. And I think that there's a huge difference between healing yourself versus medications. People instead of using medication, they find spiritual beliefs or religion, or like a lot of Christians will say, oh no, I got God to keep me thing. And she has found this way of dealing with her visions and things versus her parents who want to give her electric shock therapy. You see all her going to school, like you see her medicated, and she's finally feeling free and able to live. So she's, but she's connecting, and maybe she is hallucinating, maybe she is, and I kind of feel like she's schizophrenic, to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean that her energy isn't real. It doesn't mean that like I believe like what you give is what you get. If you could put out love, like when I get with people, I can just put it together, and I kind of in my mind, I like to wrap my energy around them and nestle them so that they can feel like, no harm, no intentions. And
I think
sometimes
Lottie does that
sometimes my
too.
energy scares people off, and Lottie's like that. She's got big D energy is what I like to say it is. Like big queen energy, big D energy, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But yeah, like it could be both. It could be both the medical physical presence. I think that she definitely believes she has it. I
Mhm.
believe I have it. Maybe I'm a little schizo. Who knows? Like, probably some people think so. I don't think so.
Well, I think
Lottie doesn't think so.
this is a great comment here. So, madness and the exclusion of mentally ill people is a phenomenon intrinsically linked to the modern state and society. And see the work of Mikhail Foucault. And yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like a huge theme of this story where, there's the boundaries of society which create these rules, and it's very Christianized and rigid, and these girls are living and things are convenient, and there's the grocery store to get your food versus the wilderness and madness and all of that, things that are uncontrolled and things that you cannot control or that people try to control and try to dominate, but and humankind, and I talked about this in one of my videos, my first Yellowjackets video. Humankind has worked for centuries to try and dominate the wilderness. Obviously we come into this world, especially thinking of America in particular, the settlers come to this area, it's wild and untamed, and their whole goal was just conquering and slowly moving westward and slowly conquering and building all these cities. And if you can just envision like what America was like 500 years ago versus what it's like now, is just completely changed, because dominating the wilderness is a way to create societal structure and control people. And it's kind of like a weird I don't know, it sucks.
Well, it's assimilation in the sense like where we take over and we
Yeah.
merge of all. So and the thing is also I think we know that points onto this is that we're all products of our environment. We all believe what we're told to believe. We are living the worlds like the American dream or whatever. We're living these society things that we think are what's supposed to do. And I am at the middle age where it's like, fuck society. Like, I'm going to do my thing because I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I went to college, jobs are not fluent, like we're not getting the things that we need. And I think that it's not real. Like, there's a perception. Whatever you perceive is your reality. And it is true because you see things. We all have our own perceptions and reality bubbles. And my reality is completely different than anyone else's. And that's cool. You respect that and just try to mix it, try to assimilate them. And it's just, you gotta like open to that. Like perception is everything. How you view and see things, whether it be in your mental illness or not, ends up being your truth. So whether it's your truth or someone else's, or whether you're going to accept the truth of someone else's or merge or assimilate them, that's a whole other thing. But
Well,
anyway, we're getting off topic.
well, no,
But this is a strong thing. It's connected. Yeah.
I think Lottie can, find a way to live her life, live her truth in doing what she's doing, because
Yeah.
as you can see, she has, she's living sort of off the grid. She's got,
She's
she's farming,
thriving.
she's growing her own food. One of the best theories I saw on Twitter was that she's a drug lord. She's growing weed in those greenhouses, and that she's that's how she's got all her money. I love that. That was like the best thing I've
Me
ever read.
too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, girl. But one great thing I noticed in this episode was when Nat goes over and she's looking at Lottie's cabin, and the other little gal is sitting there, Nicole, or I think that's the actor's name, Nicole Maines. I can't think of what her name is in the show, but anyway, she's sitting over there and she's about to slaughter the chicken. And so when she slaughters the chicken, the blood from the chicken goes
It's
into
built.
that stump. And so she's cut, like Lottie she's not slaughtering her meat and that kind of thing. She's not doing it in a kitchen or on a table made out of dead wood or plastic. She's literally doing it on a stump, which is still, rooted in the earth, has live moss growing on it. So her meat that she feeds her people, those are sacrifices to the wilderness, is what I saw there.
Yeah. I like also the stump part because like what, is it when a tree dies, you hear it? Is it dead? Is it recycled into the environment? So I think that we should do a video or look more into like the stump, because also like I mentioned last stream, like she uses hearts a lot, so maybe that's kind of a thing where you give your heart to the wilderness. But
Yeah.
I want to point out though, like we're getting a lot of really great comments from like
Yeah. Thank you
Luna
guys.
Cascade. It was said that the voices are Joan of Arc and how belief is extremely influential with people, and it's true. Like we religion combated the masses in wars for all of our life. And then we're talking also about where was the other one? Oh, Lottie's family involved. They rented the damn private jet. Like I'm totally into like all of these sacrificing virgin theories for power. Like all of the stuff on like I don't know if you what was the basketball player uh who lost his daughter recently.
Oh,
Remember the best basketball player of the West Conference. Why can't I think of his name right
Kobe
now?
Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, yeah.
Kobe.
I had a blah. But yeah, Rick, remember his daughters crashing a plane, and there's like this whole thing like, oh, he was sacrificing virgins, and because he won the rings that
Well, you know what's
year.
so crazy about that too is like their
Like,
family had always made a promise to never fly together because just in case something like
yeah.
that happened. It's like
But
they had
like,
a premonition. It's
yeah,
really tragic.
so I kind of thought of that with Anunnaki Crown. Anunnaki Crown. Shit, a lot of good comments from you too. Love it. Thank you guys so much for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you guys. And also Anunnaki Crown says, I read earlier that Callie means of the forest in Gaelic. I
Oh,
like
I
that.
love
I
it.
haven't heard that. I see my thought with Callie was that she's connected to Kali, the Hindu goddess of like, war and destruction, because she's just got that vibe, and also, Shauna kind of naming her daughter, but Shauna's a smart girl, so I just thought that was a really
She went to
interesting.
Brown.
Well, she was supposed to, but she didn't get to.
Yeah, Callie. I mean, there's a lot of Callies in. I sent you. I think I found like 2 or 3 other things. I don't have the notes on me right now, but
There
we can
are a
look
lot
into
of
that too.
Callies like in mythology and that kind of thing, what she could be tied to. I don't know. I just get the vibe of Kali because she's so just angry and she's so just angry at her mom, and it just
Yeah.
like gives me that vibe.
Well, I mentioned before, I think that she is literally the persona that Shauna wants to give out to the world that she's unable to,
Yeah.
because that's how she's raised her. And like as your kid, like I mean, my kid sees the vulnerability in me and like the things, and when you have them, like they take on those traits that you don't really know. They're sponges. Like you teach them things and behaviors and like that you don't even realize you're doing, And I have to check myself as a mother because my kid's doing stuff or I'm acting away and my kid is starting to act that way. I'm like, where did he get this from? Oh wait, and then that's a good self-reflection for sure. So
All
Lottie,
right.
what is
So
in that drink?
Lottie
Frank.
and her Kool-Aids, her various Kool-Aids and her ashwagandhas and her maca powders, and she's probably, dude, definitely guaranteed Lottie has a very expensive smoothie
Palette.
fixin' collection.
Yeah, she's juicing every day. Like it's
Oh yeah.
expensive to juice, man. Like I tried that. I love it, but honestly, like if you buy all the ingredients and it's messy and it's a big process, so like I'm just gonna go spend $7 down the street. It's either I get like once a week. I get like my budgets are clear, but I get either a coffee once a week and a juice once a week, and then that's
Yep.
yeah.
That's what it's like to be 43. You don't get to go out for coffee. We're not 43, but just older Yellowjackets. You only get coffee once a week once you got kids sucking
Yeah.
up here. I can't go to the coffee stand anymore without, my kids being like, I want a hot chocolate. So then it's instead of me just getting a $5 coffee, now it's $15 to get them hot
Yeah.
chocolates and all the other.
Coffee's a digestive too, though. Did you know that? And then also, hey, maybe what is in that drink? Is it a digestive?
That's a really good question. You know what? That's great for this shot right here because this is, the next morning. Nat's gonna go and take Jackie's body, her remains to the plane and bury her properly. But I love that there's this parallel. And we do see a shot. I have a picture here. I'll pull up later, but older Nat over at the compound is drinking one of Lottie's, tea drinks or whatever. But she's drinking the Kool-Aid. So, but here she's refusing it. And I think that's really interesting, especially after episode 2 and her whole thing with Travis, and Travis saying, it's just a symbol of being part of something, bigger, and not thinking everything, and just, basically assimilating into
Giving
the group.
in.
Yeah. And
like saying, okay, I'm to submit to you, because like taking in something from another person. I mean, come on, how many Monday murder podcast? How many murders happen by let's get over here, and how many murders happen by drinking something that you don't know what's in it? Like, never take a drink from a person.
Yeah.
It's a big trust thing.
That's one thing about Nat too, like her personality, because she's kind of like the bad girl, or like, the grungy kid, the goth kid, or whatever. And so she's not gonna go, she's not a follower, right? She's like, what is this, alcoholic? No? Okay, well then frig off out of here. But
and she's got the alcohol stored away.
She's like, I got the stash on the plane, don't worry. But no.
I always have my own too, so whatever we're taking.
Exactly. But no, so it is kind of interesting that she refused it. I thought that Nat's attitude here in this scene was a little bit interesting, because besides the fact that she refuses Lottie's tea, which is not the first time she's done that, but also how standoffish she was towards Travis, because they seemed closely bonded at the end of episode 2. They had sex, and then after they did that, they were sleeping, and then no problem, and then they were sleeping, and then they got up, and then they went and ate Jackie, right? Okay, so it just seems kind of interesting, because Nat is very clingy towards Travis. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but even like after when they were doing the funeral pyre, and Travis put Javi's pants in the fire, and then literally it's so interesting, because he puts the pants in the fire, and then he stands back up, and Nat is standing so close to him that she has to like kind of back up so that he doesn't run into her. And for some reason, that moment just stood out to me, because she's so like clingy to Travis, and she's watching him, when he's out there with Lottie, she's watching through the window, and she's sort of doing manipulative behavior to kind of keep him close to her. But then in the beginning of this episode, she was just like, no, I'm going on my own. She didn't want anything to do with Travis. She didn't want any help from him. And so I just thought that was like all really interesting, in comparison to episode 2, with Nat's mind, frame of mind.
So I do want to point out Luna again, killing it with the comments today, that the tea though, she was maybe microdosing them, because we do see last about the mushrooms from last season's party. But
dude, I'd be
microdosing,
I'm
about that. I wish I could, because and I wish I had more. Like, I'm in Texas. I moved from Florida and Michigan, and like they didn't have it legalized then. Now they do, which is like, man, after if only when I lived there, But oh, bye, Anunnaki. Thank you so much. Please come back. You were killing it with the comments too. We would love to have you back. For
thank
sure.
you. Thanks for being here.
But anyway, the microdosing thing is a good point, and maybe they are doing that. And there's also that show. There's another show where they microdose unwillingly. Do you remember? It has Nicole Kidman in it. She's like the leader of like this whole spiritual path, and Melissa McCartney. It was on HBO. Oh, let me Google it. Really
well, my only thought with like the microdosing is just that they're very limited in their, what plants they have access to right now, just because of the snow. So, I mean, unless she has like a stash of mushrooms set aside, but also like
9 Perfect Strangers. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, my thing keeps falling. I gotta fix this thing. I don't know if I want to.
But like, depending on how, yeah, exactly. There's 19 months and 7 survivors is a good point right here. So like, if they had mushrooms, even if they were microdosing, it wouldn't last them for very long. So I don't really think that that's my thought. Is she's pretty much using like pine needles, or fir branches and that kind of thing. Just basically the coniferous trees that are around her to kind of make a tea. And then maybe if she has any like random ingredients in the house. But honestly, like that's probably one of the few things they have access to just with the weather that they're in.
And also I like the iron in the water, you know, because iron is I'm gonna Google right now to see if it too much does it. But I know that iron is like when you don't have enough or you get dizzy, like it's something that you can have like mess with your brain. So if you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain or too much, then it's like you get some of these things happening to you, especially with the food things.
Although I wonder if it benefits the iron in the water. Like, I wonder if, I don't know if they're drinking that water or if they're just melting snow. It seems more like they're melting snow. But, or they do have a water pump out there, I think. But anyhow, I wonder if the iron in the water is beneficial to Shauna and the baby, because you get low iron when you're pregnant because there's so, you know, the baby's taking so much of your blood. I don't know if it's the same elemental whatever, but it's just a thought.
I mean, they say that it's used for child development to fight ADHD, fatigue, and the anemia low levels. But I mean, the thing is, like with this, it's the same thing with vitamin C and A. Like you can't absorb vitamin C without vitamin A. You just can't. And then so everyone's like, oh, when you're sick, you know, let's drink a bunch of orange juice. No, like. And actually, there's a limit to how much your body absorbs. The rest of it gets filtered and gets taken through and like gets put into other places you don't want to go.
You just pee it out.
Yeah, so like even with iron, even though they're getting the iron that they need, if there's too much, it's going to cause problems. Like I actually like my body produces too much protein, so it causes a lot of problems. And it's just naturally what my body does since I was a little girl. Like I was spilling out too much protein in my urine, too much protein stuff. But then it ended up becoming like a tumor in itself, and I had to go through this whole chemo thing, which is crazy because it's too much protein that my body just produces naturally, but then it like sticks to itself and becomes its own entity, which is it's crazy. It's insane how it works. But your body can only like actually use so much of a like that's my point, is they can only use so much of a whatever vitamin or mineral what you're getting. And Felix wants to say hi, everyone. Here, come say hi. This is
hi, Felix.
This is Fifi. I can't hear you. She's saying hi. Remember, Aaron? Okay, but mommy's on this chat. Okay, so go ahead with daddy. We have no school today. But anyway, like you have to keep that in mind. So, and the iron I think is a great thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know if the iron in the area or in the ground had anything to do with like the birds. That's one of the big mysteries of this episode, is like what happened with all the birds that, you know, crashed into. I mean, that's not unheard of happening. Things like that have happened. And actually, that happens like with alien encounters also, which is something that's like an underlying theme
or the magnetation
in this story. Yeah. So it may just be another nod to that theme going on, or it could be a nod to something bigger. Not sure.
And like, yeah, I mean, when you think about different places have the no compass, the magnetation of things, the iron affecting it, you know, iron's a mineral, so you're getting that in versus a vitamin type thing. So we're getting, you know, there's so many factors.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
It's exciting.
With the birds and with the iron and just with, you know, their water source. What's happening in their bodies, really, especially Coach Ben, I think, especially at this point, because, you know, it's nice. At least the other girls have some food in their body right now, but Coach Ben is literally got nothing. So he needs some Lottie Kool-Aid.
So in some quick Googling, there's schizophrenia like psychosis from iron metabolism, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, I'm just quick Googling. So we do see that it does give you hallucinations, iron overload, and psychotic illness. Let's click this one. Paranoid delusions, auditory hallucinations, and marked ideas of references from themselves.
Coach Ben.
So this is from the American Journal of Psychiatry.
Miss T, guess they won't eat the birds. Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
No, I bet they will. I think that was a sacrifice. It's going to be.
Honestly, it's like what would you? I mean, I don't know if so like what in other things that I've read or seen, like in movies, so not really trustworthy sources, but like it doesn't necessarily indicate that the birds are ill. It's like something is drawing them towards a certain spot, whether it's like a magnetic point or whatever. There was an alien movie, I cannot remember.
Oh yeah, with the one with
the girl from Felicity.
Yeah, or the girl where they all like run into the force field and they die. Or I mean, there's so many movies where we see this happening. Yeah,
that one also. What was that one? That was a good movie too. So that does happen quite often. These animals are drawn. So maybe it is the iron they're drawn to. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with the birds. So yeah, I would freaking eat them if they, if I was them. But
birds have this like, whole magnetation, like they're pulled to certain parts of the world. Mm-hmm. So are animals, like we hit the migrational elements of these animals and creatures that, they don't know, they're not quite sure, but yeah, they have like this pull towards that. So
yeah.
No, hey, I gotta have a RuPaul's Drag Race moment because I'm sorry, y'all, I gotta lose this wig.
Oh, do your thing, girl. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I think that they should eat the birds. Lottie did the whole blessing thing, and I think that what we could really take from that moment is we're starting to see the divide of the factions, because with in that moment, like Lottie's like, let's do a blessing. And so some of the girls were gathering the birds and bringing them over to her so she could do the blessing. But some of the other girls were like, no, I'm going inside. And Ty was one of those people. So Ty went inside, but Van stayed out there to help with the birds. And I think even, Shauna went inside and a few others went inside and didn't want to partake. So I think that might be the beginning of the divide and factions that we might see, and probably Ty is going to be the leader. And what's so funny about that is Ty, definitely, she has such dad vibes. She puts out such dad vibes. Then Lottie is like the mother, she's all comforting and she's like, no, give Shauna time. She needs time to heal. And she's got very like maternal vibes. She's like the mother of the group. So we're going to have mom and dad getting divorced and the kids are getting split up. So
okay, so we have we've gone like, we haven't even done our notes. No, what do we even make notes for?
I literally have not looked at the notes once, so I apologize, you guys. We never even,
we've been everywhere.
So this is Lottie's bee symbol. I don't know. There is some similarities to the nature symbol that I could see. Like we have the circle, and then she has these flowers, which sort of are shaped like the triangle, and then this long one that's kind of coming across, which is kind of similar to the one long line. So okay, a lot of people have a lot of different ideas about the symbol or what it might mean. Is it a protection symbol, or is it a curse, or something like that? I kind of think it's a map. That's like what I've always thought, is that it's a map. And I think that's a big reason why it's on a lot of the trees, is just because in case these people get lost, there's obviously there's a huge theory with the iron in the ground that there's, an underground bunker, underground mine. And so my thought was that would be a map to that location. And the long line that cuts across the center of the whole thing is like a divide of above ground and underground. That's just my thought. I could be completely wrong, but that's always been my interpretation of it. So Lottie's it seems like it's kind of a variation of that. I don't know. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on the symbol or Lottie's bee box, or is it just her own little Lottie TM bee boxes?
What was the goddess I was giving you where where she gets a flower and turns into a tree? She gets a flower from the god of water to change it. God, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, she gets a flower, so that just kind of put that on to me right now, and seeing that it was a flower, because I don't think I've seen a flower before in this, so I kind of dig that. Well, I didn't notice that.
Another thing I was thinking about too with like the symbol versus this one is like the other symbol might be like like the way that Lottie has flowers and like butterflies or bees or whatever with it is sort of spring and summer imagery, whereas the other one might be more of like a winter kind of imagery. That's kind of probably a stretch, but that's.
Girl, look at all my flowers, literally.
Yeah.
Like, and I painted, so just saying. I'm like, I always have flowers everywhere. Actually, I use them for work. I use them for work and like crafts and things. So
but yeah, so that's kind of my thought. And then I do have a picture of the blanket somewhere. Let me find it. I think in Shauna's stuff. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Not the best picture of it, but I don't know if I have one saved in this file. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, a couple more over. There it is.
Yes, I was loving this too, where you were saying like, oh, like they're giving her all these things with flowers. So this is, maybe that's a queen thing. Maybe that is what they're doing is they're, offering to their new queen.
Well, and obviously here's Shauna in yet another crown. So she's always got like all the crowns, all the really cool crowns too. But there's a lot. Yeah. Miss Shauna and her babies. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the baby blanket? Do you think that Lottie embroidering the symbol on there, is that a good thing, a bad thing, a good luck, or not so much?
It's how you perceive it. Like we saw color or the white, like your video with the white moose, and some people like the mokmak is how we say it. It's, like, some people think it's lucky. Mikamak. Yeah. Some people think it's lucky. Other people think it's bad. It's a bad omen. Yeah. It's perception. And I am actually my son is named Felix, meaning luck and happiness, because I did this great hypnosis audio, which I listen to just because I believe that you can reprogram your thoughts. It's more about like reprogramming habits and stuff. Like I'm not like, it's audio hypnosis stuff. I don't know if anyone else gets into it. If you do, throw some hearts in the chat. But it's I use it to help, better myself. And there's this one where it's like, if you believe you're lucky, and they guide you through a series of elements where you see like trees, or you imagine yourself and you associate feelings and calmness with elements so that you can like calm your brain, basically. And one of them is called incredibly good luck, and it like changed my life, to be honest with you, because when you think you're lucky, you're lucky. Like it's like, do you see the glass half empty or full? Like when you think that you're lucky, you believe you're lucky, you will start seeing everyday occurrences, or like seeing yourself as lucky. So I mean, there's more into that, but anyway, I just want to say that I believe in luck. Yeah. So if you want to see it as luck, it can be luck. If you don't, if you want to see it as a bad omen, try to be more positive.
That's a really good point, Miss T. And thank you, Mandy, for sharing that. No, I totally agree. I think that and that's kind of Lottie's purpose too, in essence here, is like she's sort of the reprogramming the thoughts and keeping people positive rather than allowing them to sink into their despair. And that's something that Travis is trying to explain to Nat when, she's like, we're the only ones out here hunting, and, while they're sitting back there holding hands and, being weirdos. And Travis is like, well, everybody has a role, because keeping people positive in that desperate situation is so important, because once people lose hope, then it's, things are bad. People need to have that positivity. Otherwise it's just, things will get really ugly. So
and then Lottie is, when she first comes in as an adult, or Charlotte comes in as an adult character, she's literally preaching or talking about, you're in control of what you do. Like you can take control of your life, and you can think of it this way. So I'm a huge fan of that. Like I use that in my everyday life. I'm an affirmation person. I definitely can get behind it.
So I think this is really interesting, Miss T, that the iron in her blood triggered it. Because Maybe. It is a really weird thing that Shauna got that nosebleed right at the same moment as the bird starting to hit the house. again, going back to like the alien thing, is there something there with that? Because that's another like symptom of like alien abduction is like nosebleeds, right? Or like a loss of time and that kind of thing. And so, it's interesting that she got I do think that there's something really weird that she got the nosebleed right at the very moment that the birds started hitting the house. Like what? Because I was trying to think if there's like a natural phenomena that would cause such a thing, but I can't really. I mean, getting nosebleeds when you're pregnant is also common, but just that it all happened like at the exact same moment is super strange. So
yeah, I like, honestly, just my opinion, if they turn this into an alien thing, I'm gonna throw the stuff at the screen. I'm gonna be so mad because
I'm not very happy with that either.
I want it, like, I'm down. I love all the witchy vibes. I love all the pagan stuff. I love like the Romanistic. I love how there's so many undertones. But please do not turn this. Or if they turn it into a Walking Dead, like, we've had enough zombies, please.
Yeah.
Not everything can turn.
The supernatural element, which can sort of be stemmed back to like religious fervor or or just like nature, like your natural instincts, like your natural survival instincts and natural human state versus something crazy like an alien abduction. I would not think that either. No. I mean, I like that there's like subtle nods to it. Don't get me wrong. I think that's awesome, but I just don't feel like that fits with this story, and I don't want it.
I want Cabin Daddy or whoever was in that cabin before to be like some Native American or like some like long blood, maybe type shaman type blood in their system, or that's where they are, is like in this whole. I want there to be some like antique history going on with some Native American culture is what I really want it to be, like some witchy effects. Or
what I like, and I talked about this in my moose video, is like the idea that there's like a Native American curse, but then also that it's because the suffering that the white man or the white Europeans inflicted upon them by coming over. And, the Mi'kmaq in particular were very welcoming because they were one of the first people that the Europeans were encountering once they arrived. Just locationally, that's where their land was. And so and then of course, as these people are passing through and heading west, towards where these girls are located, and causing so much suffering upon these people that, I would be cursing French dudes. And so it is really interesting, like that Lottie, when they do the seance and sort of that spirit that inhabits her is a French speaking spirit when she failed French class or what have you. And so, it's all really interesting the way, like, if there is a historical connection through this story, that it could have been like somebody carried a curse to that location. Now they're stuck there, and, and whoever arrives next inherits the curse. But and perhaps they're even drawn there like the birds. There's almost a parallel between the girls in the plane, the Yellowjackets girls in the plane crashing in that location.
Hey,
as a parallel to the birds who somehow crashed at that location. Now, is another question I have is could it possibly have something to do with like equinoxes, with solstices or something of that nature? Because again, going back to the symbol, where if it is a map, could it potentially be, okay, on X date is
gravitational poles
when the sun or the moon hits this spot on this peak, is kind of my thought. Then is that like a cursed moment, a cursed day, or something of that nature, where if somebody's passing over or passing through, like that curse will fall upon them. So it's kind of
I love that. I love that you brought that up. I love it. That is like, no, because it's true, because the gravitational pull of the moon has the tides, the water, it has everything to do with it. And I believe, like, I mean, I used to go on the full moon to Miami Beach all the time and just like take it in, and you can see the tides low and like dance in the waters and the moonlight. I mean, drum circle, all that stuff. But like, yeah, it does have a huge factor where you are geographically and with the mountain range. And is it, is it disturbing that pull or the gravity, that everything? There's so much to it.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an interesting concept to toy with, that as an idea of, what drew them there, what caused this crash to begin with, or what's sort of bringing out this wild instinct, or is it just all like your human instinct anyways, and it's just all sort of. But the girls seem convinced, like in the trailers they talk about bringing this darkness back with them, and then like with Travis trying to talk to the wilderness and that kind of thing. So I don't know. It's really interesting. That would seem more like there would be a curse that they're carrying with them.
Mm-hmm.
That is like an additional layer to the trauma and survival that they had to go through anyways. So then it's another layer to questioning, is this just a mental illness, trauma related, or is there, is there something like a curse in place that's following them, so now we have multi facets, like multi layers of what's going on. And that's kind of even similar to like going back, like I was talking about earlier with Servant, the last show that I covered. You start to wonder, is there like a curse? Is there a Faustian bargain in place? Is there is it a supernatural element? Is it just mental illness from what these kids had gone through, this really traumatic experience? So it's fun.
Yeah,
I love exploring this idea.
Like Luna Cascade says it too. Maybe the traders hunted and killed on trespass land. Are we getting? What was it? Wait, shoot. God, I'm having such bad names. Oh, are we getting Pet Cemetery? Are we doing that?
Oh God! Somebody commented that on my video about Pet Cemetery. They're like, they're native. Anyways, yeah, they were like, you're supposed to pronounce it the way they did in Pets. I'm like, hun, I'm not going to take my grammatical lessons from Pet Cemetery.
It's cool though.
But yeah.
No, but like
yeah, I think this is a good point, Luna. Yeah, that this is exactly kind of what I was thinking, because also, yeah, we have like sacred land, sacred animals, and then of course people being pushed onto reservations, and so then like their reservations are exploited. They also like would starve them out by overfishing or overhunting their lands, and that kind of thing. So then these people are starved, not to mention their children are sent to residential schools, which we all now just in the last 10 15 years have learned about these terrible atrocities that were happening in residential schools in Canada, but also all over North America. But in Canada in particular, I remember hearing, because I'm from the Seattle area, I remember hearing about there was a residential school in Vancouver, BC, and just a mass grave, just torture that these poor children had to endure because white people came in and stole their land. So
I just recently watched Three Pines, which is on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of about it's exactly about all this, and they talk about the residential schools, and it's in Canada too, actually.
Oh, so, is that with Leonardo DiCaprio? Not
that. No, but
I know he has a new one about that.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. I mean, it's really great. And then also,
not that we're big Leo fans. I know he's a little predatory, but
I
like watching him whatever for a long time. So
like, ain't nobody perfect.
Yeah,
don't judge people. That's how I feel. Like, don't judge, love. But anyway, so I do want to shout out like to my tribe, the Narragansett Wampanoag, Masui, who I actually he was the first chief from the to accept white people, the Native Americans, and from Thanksgiving, if you guys don't know that. But anyway, my aunt is a leader of the tribal councils there. She also does a lot of storytelling and has some books, and it's really great. But my tribe is like, I'm a direct descendant of his, believe it or not. Yeah, so it's really cool to have that, and like talking about all this. It's just, it's like it's really just because I grew up like all American, I won't lie, but it is like part of the culture regardless, and then the assimilation just is what it is. I mean, this is the story of the world, so
it is. And unfortunately, we live in a a world that's been colonized and taken from, many people from their original culture. So that's one thing, that is important, especially like when I'm covering these kind of stories, that I try and draw attention to like native cultures, or even like I did a video on unpopular opinion, but they're 1923 or no 1883, excuse me, and Daenerys Targaryen and sort of cultural appropriation with their native husbands. And anyway, so if you guys
and
want
like taking away the matriarch powers in a lot of tribes too, which is a big deal to me. So
yeah, actually somebody left a really great comment on my moose video about that the Mi'kmaq, they're a matriarch tribe. Yeah, they're a matriarchal society, and I think that's beautiful. And they have their grandmothers, the elders of their I believe their land is split up into like 7 sort of states, I guess you might say, and then the eldest woman of the tribe in that particular state is the leader. So I just think that's so beautiful, so incredible, so wise, So anyhow. All right. Yes, Yasi, M. Night Shyamalan did an amazing job with Servant. I love Servant. I miss it. Oh, I miss it so much. I love Servant. And if you guys are fans, I've done some videos on Servant, and I also did a live series on season 4. So definitely check that out if you guys want to. Okay, let's see. So yeah, nature thrown out of balance. Lottie claims to seek and guide others to rebalance themselves. Yeah, interesting. I don't know, it's whether or not she is to be trusted. I have some big thoughts with Lottie as far as like, we saw in the trailer for episode 4 that she has the Queen of Hearts card with the eyes crossed out. Is she using that for a form of divination? Because we know that Ty is going to Van. So I really think I have a big theory up. If you guys are interested, you can become a channel member or a patron and check out the links in the description if you guys are interested in joining either. I have an exclusive theory out about the cards and about Van and about sort of tarot divination and that kind of thing. So and I think we're going to see some more of that in next week's episode with with Lottie. And I don't know if it's her who's doing the tarot. My thought was that it's Van, because just the kind of lifestyle that Van is living at this point in time. But yeah. So anyhow, definitely if you guys are interested in joining, check that out. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes, Yasi. I loved The Third Day. That one did not get enough attention. It is such an amazing series. Oh my God. My only complaint about The Third Day is that they did that live, like they basically did an episode in the middle where it was like live filmed. And I don't think that they did a good enough job at like sort of advertising that, right? So there is a little bit missing in the middle, but it also gives you an opportunity to fill in the blanks because it is excellent. You guys definitely should check it out. I actually wanted to cover that show and like do some stuff for it, but it's kind of a weird one. I didn't know if people would be interested, but maybe I will actually, even though it's a couple years old. So freaking good. Definitely check it out. Okay, so what do you think the Queen of Hearts with the scratched out eyes means? There's a lot of mention of eyes. Well, I think, okay. So I don't want to give away my whole theory in case people do want to come and join. But I think that we should take into account that you can use playing cards as tarot cards. So they all have like a direct translation. So if if you're in a bind, you can use playing cards as tarot cards and do the same sort of divination. I think that either Lottie or Van is doing so. But one really interesting thing I wanted to throw out, and I saw somebody comment about this on Twitter this morning. They said that in season 1, episode 8, I believe, Travis and Nat, when they're in the cabin, this is the younger Travis and Nat, they're going to play cards, and Travis says all the queens are missing from the deck. And I just thought that was really interesting, because we see not only in the intro, but also in next week's trailer, and then also in the promo photo for season 2, Van has the Queen of Hearts right next to her. And then in the intro sequence, we have, when it shows Lauren Ambrose's name, her credit, it's a Queen of Diamonds being burnt by a lighter. So I just think that all of those things are very significant, and you guys should go click the join button right there that says join, and join for $2 a month and learn my theory.
Yeah, only $2. But I mean, you're killing it with some of these theories. But also, I do want to say, when people do that, normally it is a sign of schizophrenia. Like, it's one of the known symptoms of the behavior traits is when they do it to pictures of people that they love.
Oh, scratching out the eyes.
Yeah, it is like on there. Because I mean, I don't know, you don't want to be seen. There's a lot to it. Like, and I feel like that's what, with Ty, she doesn't want to be seen. I love this, like, let's get back focused on the characters. But
yeah.
I know we're talking about all these great.
We've been going for almost an hour and a half. But yeah, no.
She has this, I love this thing about her, because, like, for example, the scene where she's talking, we wake up and Van is getting her character and following the lady in the tree. She's like, okay, can I come with you? And she's like, yeah. And then she's saying she's following the man with no eyes. Mm-hmm. And there's like distinct recognition that she is switching, and there are like 2 different versions of her, and like they're like mirrors, and she's lady talking to her in the mirror. And I love this part too, because it's like you get the different mirror scenes. It's fun. Editing, I do video editing, so to me that was like, yeah, love it.
I love tarot too, Luna. Maybe I should pull us a card.
Yeah, actually, Erin and I do tarot for each other all the time, and she, we do it a lot.
Yeah, maybe I'll
pull
get
into
card.
that.
If you guys stick around to the end, I'll pull a tarot card. So,
a daily card, yeah.
Yeah, just so we can know what to expect from episode 4.
Love it.
So yeah, I think, okay, so in the trailer we see Bad Ty cover is the version of Van's mask, or is it the symbol from the trees? Good question, actually. So originally when I saw this, because I want to say they showed like this promo photo, or maybe this shot in the trailer or something like that, and I was thinking the same. I thought it was the symbol.
It looks just like it.
Yeah, but after this scene, where she's saying go to her, and it kind of looks more like Van's mask, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's all done intentionally for them to get this symbol across, and there's more symbolism than we know going on in all these things, which is half of what we're talking about. But it is, I can see it be like the symbol for Ty's face. Oh, is Ty or not Ty, but for Van, is Van the Antler Queen? Is that why she's getting so much like dislike and not coming in till late? Maybe she's, because I know we see her and she looks like she's in a movie theater or something, like she's working the desk of a movie theater. So maybe she's back there pulling cards and working it off from the back, like Footloose, Varsity Blues.
I know. I'm 90s. Sorry, but my girl Van here has a fucking rough case of Arrested Development. She's working at the movie theater. She's watching 90s movies. She's playing with toys. Like, I'm sorry, my darling. I love you. I want Lauren Ambrose to come on so bad. I just want to give her a hug.
And also, like, I mean, Lauren, she's such a dynamite actor. Like, like the chances of her and then coming in late like this. Like,
they're keeping us waiting.
Is she gonna steal the spotlight?
Waiting. I am so thirsty for my Dorothy Van.
And the thing is also, like, Van she has control over everyone. She's not like they're not butting heads. She's not butting heads with anyone. She's agreeing. Yeah. She's agreeable, likable. She's a middle person, but they don't give her that much attention. So now, I mean, this is all coming from me right now. So I don't, but like in my mind right now, I'm thinking, hey, whoa, the idea of her becoming the main figure who is going around and inciting all of these actions and moves and knowing what triggers, because it's always the quiet ones you got to watch out for. But like, she gets it, and she was gonna burn originally, remember? So hey, there could be a
lot
lot
of
with
fire
that.
symbolism. So
Yeah.
I think that Van is kind of like the cleansing fire, for Ty and whatever, like her
Love
inner
it.
demons and that kind of thing. And so I think this is a huge aspect to the playing cards and like the Queen of Hearts. Because well, I just don't want to give it all away, but yeah, I think that like, there's with the tarot cards and them being connected to different elements and that kind of thing. And so, water, fire, like Queen of Hearts is like a water card. Van is fire related, so it's just, they're all very, and then like, the diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, the suit of diamonds is the earth. So there's a lot of, symbolism going on with just the cards.
So much. And it's crazy because the more you see it and the more you're out looking for it, like I said, like I'm seeing all these little clues, and I'll watch the episode like 4 times and I'm like, whoa, I didn't notice that till now. Or like, hey, little subtle things. And it's such a great show, man. They're putting in all of the, like I said earlier, the nostalgia, all of the little details. It's great.
Yeah. Thank you, Yasi. I really appreciate that. Yasi says, you're the only actual subtle deep dive into Yellowjackets. The rest are so-called reviews and just recaps. Kudos. Thank you. I appreciate that. I have noticed that as well. There's not a lot of people, deep diving into the lore, into, theory crafting. I mean, there are some theory channels, but it's just a lot of reviews. And honestly, I see a lot of men doing reviews, and personally
I like Pete Peppers.
Pete Peppers does good, but I want to hear more women talking about the show, because this is a woman's show. I mean, men can watch it, men can enjoy it, but there's a strong female influence and female like intuition in this show, right? And so I feel like there's, I want to hear more women talking about it and going into like the deeper symbolism, rather than just doing reviews, which, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to hear anyone talking about any of it, but I am glad to feed the masses.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy symbolism, that's kind of like my whole jam. I love doing symbolism and theories and, just historical, whatever, source material stuff.
Symbolism is all day, every all day. It's a lifestyle, to be honest with you. So
it really
it's like it's really like, animalistic.
It's a mental condition.
Maybe, but like when you see things in nature, like it's a sign. And that's how spiritualism, like animalism, and with Native American tribes, like when you see an animal, when you invoke that spirit, when you invoke, I love colorology and like color symbolism. That's how what got me into symbolism as a designer and artist. And then I started getting into it more and more. And then numerology, I mean, that's a whole other level when I see the numbers and things. So it's all connected. We are one energy, right?
Well, and that's what's really great about this show too, because it's because of that, like because of all the women that are in this, like we can really tap into those ideas and how it's sort of reflected from a feminine point of view. So yeah, I love it. So I agree, Luna. Most male reviewers miss the subtleties. Yes. Well,
I don't agree with that, but yeah, I do think it's a woman thing. But yeah, but I'm very masculine, believe it or not. Like, so.
Yeah, once you open up to the symbolism, it's everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And there are some good, you know what, I will shout out David Lightbringer, who does some great symbolism from the male perspective.
Yes. I love David.
He's awesome.
LML. I love him. I love him.
He came on the channel. I want to say episode 9, House of the Dragons live stream. So if you guys want to check out our fun chat with him, definitely check that out. But yeah, he does great with the symbolism also. So yeah. Although I haven't got him to watch this show. I haven't asked him to watch this show, but I think he would really enjoy Servant personally. So, all right. Let's see here. So let's get into, where do we,
Where do we leave off? I don't think we've ever looked at the notes yet.
You know what? I think we need to jump into next, though, is our songs of the week, because, you know, we had some excellent, there's always excellent soundtrack to the show, but Mandy and I picked out our favorite songs of the week and made you a lovely thing here.
I do want to say one more thing about LML. Like LML, he was my introduction to the Game of Thrones fandom, or A Song of Ice and Fire fandom, and I've been his fans. I would think I was like his 12th subscriber, but like I absolutely love LML, and he's, you know, he is definitely he got a lot of hate, which was bullshit if you ask me, but like, you know, I think he's such a strong, amazing, authentic personality, and there's no one else like him. So.
You know, we've had our ups and downs, that's for sure.
No drama.
But no, he's great, and you know, he's been very supportive of my channel, shared my stuff, and you know, I used to cover a show called Raised by Wolves, and he really enjoyed that content, and I enjoyed making that content. So yeah, he's great, and you know, he's got a lot of really interesting insights into different symbolic layers. Obviously, if you guys are familiar with this channel. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So, oh, here we go. Perfect. And then he has his YouTube is called David Lightbringer, so definitely check it out. And he has another he has another channel, but I can't remember what it's called, but it's all about symbolism and history, and yeah. So okay, so this week we have our songs of the week, and also in the description, if you guys are interested, I have linked the official Spotify playlist for Yellowjackets, which has all the songs, all from the whole series, that they just kind of add to each week. So it's linked in the description if you guys want to check that out, if you're on Spotify. But otherwise, Mandy and I chose our favorite songs of the week, and I think we're going to start doing this each week. So Mandy, your choice. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I was dropping LML's chat YouTube link, and regular link. So Veruca Salt. Does anyone know where the name Veruca Salt comes from in the chat? Anyone want to drop it? But I'll give it a minute and see. But anyway, see there, and like it talks about, you don't know her. Some, you know, I did lost my notes on that, but it's a great band from the 80s. They also do this. The most popular song, in my opinion, is called Volcano Girls, but they are such like a 90s band, and it's also a lead feminine thing. Yes, Lisa L, she got it. Willy Wonka. Veruca Salt is the little girl who turns into a blueberry. So she's the one, like, she's like, I want my things, and she's the brat, but she it's great. It's from Willy Wonka, and we, you know, they do this Volcano Girls too, Veruca Salt, which is the most popular, and it's a great song. They're both playing guitar. They're getting down, very feministic leads. They are the leading, and they have their little cat, which is named Seether, by the way. And then I think that's where the band Seether got their name, to be honest with you, but not sure.
I like the band Seether a lot, actually. Yeah. But I like Veruca Salt. I used to listen to, you know, me and my girls, we used to be little riot girls back in high school. So like we were like very Nat-esque. We'd be like, you know, going to concerts and sneaking out and, you know, driving places we shouldn't and that kind of thing. So
yeah, my friends and I actually, because I think we talked about our first CDs in the 90s, and mine was like Alanis Morissette, and my girlfriend and I, we would go and like steal cigarettes and go smoke cigarettes on the roof together, because we were in Michigan, so we had like this flatline roof. And we would climb out my window, get up there, and we would just bring our little boombox and put Elane Spencer and be like, you ought to know, because I'm here to remind you, and like yell at the neighborhood. My old man neighbor would come out and just like watch us. Now I think it's kind of creepy, but like at the time he'd be like, yeah, girls, yeah, rock on. So
you know what?
we would be on top of the roof, like, the mess you made when you went away, it's not fair. Like getting down. Like,
I think I said this last week, but I am like waiting for them to put Alanis on the show. I'm like, come on, where is Alanis Morissette? Come on.
Yeah,
but, I don't think she's had any songs on there yet.
Let me check. I got you. All right, you go on with that shirt. I know you're a huge Tori fan. I know, because Aaron and I will be texting each other all the time. Like, I mean, you should see our texts. You think this is long, our streams? You should, like, we're texting each other all day about our theories. It's like, and then we go back to see, like, at the end. So I was trying to make notes for the stream, which not that we were using them, but I'm like trying to copy and paste some of our notes. And I'm like, where is it? Where is it? And it's like, I can't even find it because it's so long.
Mandy says, she's like, maybe we should just have one document with all the notes for every episode. I'm like, no. That's not a good idea. Anyways, so my choice, was Tori Amos. I love Tori Amos. I love that they've been they played her in episode 1 when Shauna ate the ear. They played Cornflake Girl, and then in this episode they played Bells for her. And that was in that moment where Lottie was like having the vision and thinking the bees were all dead. This song Bells for Her is about, and also Cornflake Girl are both about like female friendships ending kind of tragically. And so anyways, if you've ever had a friend who's put you through it. No, but I feel like all the Tori Amos in this season has been like forcing me into like some traumatic, reliving some trauma or something like that. But no,
oh my God, a lot of it.
Yeah. And that's the point, right? That is the point of this show, is to like traumatize us for our, the women who have traumatized us in our lives.
Yeah. Don't be dramatic, be traumatic.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is a great song. I love Bells for Her. It's beautiful and it was great for the moment. And that's that. So those are our songs. I don't know. You guys tell us if you like any of the other songs that they played this week. If you have a better choice, then let us know in the chat. But those are our tops. And I think we'll just start doing, our weekly faves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get through here.
So wait, who's your MVP? Should we do the MVP? Or well, at the end?
MVP. Let's see.
Of this episode.
Oh, this episode, my MVP is Misty because we haven't even talked about her yet.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's go into her. But yes, I mean Misty is my all-time MVP. Let me just tell you. But
Misty killed it this week. Her performance, her monologue was epic. I loved it. She was great. She did an incredible job. The girl who plays her is an incredible actress. I was so proud of her, in that moment. She just did so well.
The Steel Magnolias monologue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I found a reel on YouTube where it was like, Misty's like, you love me. You really love me. And I don't know if that's from the Steel Magnolias. She gets an award and that's what she does. She's like, I just know you love me. You really love me. So it was great. And it really was just like phenomenal. Like she killed. She does deserve. I hope like they better get their Grammys going on this show. So
yeah, she did great. And
or Emmys, not Grammys, Emmys. I don't know. I'm saying Grammys.
Her relationship with Crystal is, they're
Sally Field. That's her name.
They're starting to get closer, which is so sweet. I love watching them together. Like in episode 2, we had that moment of them. They were sword fighting with sticks and like playing. And this is before Jackie's funeral pyre gets lit. But like, it's just sort of, they're in the background of this really tense moment. They're just playing and having fun. And, they're really bonding. And that's really great for Misty because she's never had somebody that she's close to before like this. And then Crystal is also a bit weird. She strikes me as she's a bit on the spectrum. Obviously, with her singing and just like kind of her interesting energy. The other girls are super annoyed by her, but
I love her.
I
ate my twin.
Yeah. So, okay. Thoughts about that. So yeah, she ate the twin in the twin fetus. And so my thought about that was, she says, that she feels like she's channeling her when she's on stage. And I was like, that is a really weird statement because she was a fetus that you ate. So like she was never on stage, Crystal.
No, well, I didn't think it was weird. I thought that I was like, I get you. I think that's right because I invoke, like I said, I'm an energy person. I'm like energy
Yeah.
bruja, maybe energy witch. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I invoke them and I like channel energy all the time. And when you want to be a different person, that's her being a different person. And then she even says in the scene, like it's easy to be another person.
Yeah.
Like you just, it's so easy. So
And Misty says,
there's
like,
something,
I
there's a lot
admire.
deeper we can go into it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's so I do want to kind of touch on this idea because, okay, so Crystal talks about she ate her twin, and there's a lot of kind of ideas that Crystal might end up being cannibalized. We didn't see an older version of Crystal. So
Or that she's a figment of Missy's imagination, like that
yeah,
she might be
exactly.
not
And
real, that
yeah,
she's
well,
Misty's other, like that Misty's hallucinating her, like because everyone has their images and visions, so maybe
yeah,
Missy's hallucinating her friend. So I just thought that was a theory. It's
that's
interesting.
that could be an interesting. There's a lot of interesting theories about Crystal going around. My kind of thought is, like I feel like Misty, they're going to get close and then she's going to end up losing her friend. It's going to be really tragic. But then when she eats her, I
She's
feel like, because I feel like that's what happened, they're going
taking
to
in
end up
energy.
cannibalizing her. But, she's going to suffer through a lot of those same emotions, like what Shauna is going through with Jackie and losing Jackie. But I feel like because of the things that Crystal is sort of imbuing upon Misty, as far as like, she ate her sister and she feels like she's channeling her. And, she says something else along the lines of like, her acting teacher told her, like, once you figure out that everyone's lying or everyone's faking it or something like that, it's
Yeah.
like, then you're really a master of your craft or something like that. And so, I feel like there's this concept of sin eating, or even like through ritualistic cannibalism, where you're absorbing this person's wisdom or their sins or their
Beauty, like Jackie.
exactly. And so, like with Jackie, I don't think there was, I mean, maybe for Shauna, there was some of that in there, but I feel like, as time progresses and the cannibalism reoccurs, they're going to become more ritualistic about it. And I feel like Misty, if she ends up cannibalizing Crystal, it's going to be that sort of like that sort of energy with her, where she's feeling like she's taking on Crystal as a person. She's becoming her, where she says, I've always admired people who can become someone else or something like that. I think that that's what it's going to be like for Misty, is that she has like a very ritualistic mindset with it versus a survival mindset. And we even kind of get that idea in in that cannibalism scene in the very first episode, when it's Misty is the only one who removes her mask and she has like a smile on her face because they have done a very ritualistic feast on, whatever happens. So it's kind of an interesting concept.
Which is why we're in Digestif, because it was a
Exactly.
communion. Like I like to look at it
Exactly.
as a communion type thing. But you're right. Like I do believe also, like I think that, you know, well, first thing I said at this season, I'm like, where the hell did these girls come from? Because I wanted like, there are 4 new girls that we don't even know who they are. I was like, who
Mhm.
are these girls? But I don't know if that's the right number. I do kind of like this whole idea that Crystal is imaginary friend. I also like think that she will consume her energy and absorb it. And I think that that's what the whole cannibalistic thing, and you're right, the sinful eating, that's what it's playing on, is that you're getting that influence, perspective, ideas from all these other people and you're taking them.
Mhm. Because there are different forms of cannibalism, or like different like actual scientific like version, like subgenres of it, right? Where it's like,
Hmm.
there is the ritualistic form, there's a form of like fear where you're doing it to like scare your enemies. There's
And power.
there are even like sin eaters who are literally hired to not necessarily like a cannibalize a body, but there's a ritualistic meal, like a cake that is baked for this body, and then they like eat it, and it's like ritualistically symbolizing eating this person's sins, taking on their sins and that kind of thing, so that this person is cleansed, so that when they're buried or they're cremated, that they are clean of their sins and that kind of thing. And then, I watched this really interesting video, actually. Mrs. Duncan the Tall sent it to me. One of her favorite channels, which is called Ask a Mortician. She's a pretty popular channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it, but Ask a Mortician, she did a video on the Donner Party, and it was very educational, very interesting. So I would recommend it. I have a lot of theories about all of this and the Donner Party and then the Bach guy and whatever. So eventually I'm going to make a big video for you guys, but I'm going to wait until a little closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, we definitely, and Aaron and I have been talking about several types of videos that we want to make, but we just want a little bit more context clues before we get into them. So
yeah. So I'm not, but although I still have fun with it, so I don't even care if it's like completely off of the
off it's fine.
I'm like, whatever.
It's a theory. Put it out there. Get people's fun. Get minds flowing. Don't just like you said, don't do reviews. How many reviews do we see? No, we want to dive deep into the elements, dive deep into the writing. It's not about what do they do at the show. Yeah, it's about how those influences are adding up, how those things are reacting. What is those pulled from? What writing? What genres? Who did this influence of? So I love it. Like the Dahmer, the ideas, the cultural references, the ideas. Oh, let it roll. Let's ship them. Come on. Let me start here.
We ship them on the ship. Okay.
Ahoy! Is it an African gray I see? But so let me just tell you, I ship these two and I have great expectations for them.
The name of the boat, right, is Great Expectations?
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. Maybe we should consider, I didn't spend time thinking about this, but I wonder if we should consider the storyline of Great Expectations into their frame of reference. I didn't take the time to do that, but that'll be something I do this week.
Another video in a couple episodes.
Yeah. My biggest thing that stood out to me from this with Walter was he, at the end he says he's a bored Moriarty looking for his Sherlock. And, me being a book nerd, of course, I was like, wait a second, because Moriarty is Sherlock's nemesis. That's like his enemy. And that's like the reason he died. Or like, I think the character was even just created just to be like a plot device for Sherlock to die. However, I pulled up this quote because I just thought it was really interesting to, like if we look at Walter as like a Moriarty, as an enemy, because it's like, he could have said he was, Sherlock and Holmes, they're like partners, right? They're best friends. So like he could have said he's a bored Holmes looking for his Sherlock, but no, he says Sherlock's enemy. So I really feel like there's some underlying, and I think even Misty caught that because she kind of gets a weird put off look, and she's not an idiot. She's a very smart woman. She's a book nerd. So I think she caught that. But anyway, so the quote I found is from a story called The Final Problem. And it's on Moriarty. It says, he is a man of good birth and excellent education, endowed by nature with a phenomenal mathematical faculty. But the man had hereditary tendencies of the most diabolical kind. A criminal strain ran in his blood, which, instead of being modified, was increased and rendered infinitely more dangerous by his extraordinary mental powers. He is the Napoleon of crime, Watson. He is the organizer of half that is evil and nearly all that is undetected in this great city. So, okay, the line that stood out to me, and I think I told you guys my Walter theory last week, which is I believe that Walter is Adam's brother and that he's searching for Adam. And we get another hint to this because when Misty's like, I knew Adam's mother and, she wouldn't want this or that. And then it like pans to Walter and he's like, I don't think you did, lady. So he knows, he knows she's full of crap. But anyways, Adam had mentioned, he has a brother who's from Ann Arbor, Michigan, which again with the
boat. Detroit.
Exactly. But you can take now, Mandy, tell me this, because I'm almost certain you can sail from the Great Lakes to like to New Jersey or wherever they're at. Like you could get to the ocean from the Great Lakes, right?
Yeah, I think that they built a canal over there, but I actually don't know anymore. I think there's a canal that goes through, but you can definitely, I know that you can drive up and through Canada to go to New York, but I didn't own a boat. Like,
Yeah.
I'm from 8 Mile. Like,
Well,
I
for
had
some
a paper
reason,
boat
I
that
don't
I
know why I
made.
thought, I'm almost certain that you can, like, I feel like there is a way, but, who knows? Maybe his boat was already out there or whatever, but, Adam did say his brother is a colorectal surgeon and he owns a book called Anal. And I just thought that was really funny because, like, as a citizen detective, you're a pretty like anal person, right? Anal for the details
Yeah.
and all of that. And so
I love that theory that he's Adam's brother. I think it's amazing. Like,
I think it's amazing too, not to flush my own feathers, but like, every time I comment it on Twitter, like Yellowjackets, they're like their Twitter and their social media is very active and they put out a lot of things like, oh, what do you guys think of this? They'll post questions they want, and they'll be very interactive with their, people who comment. Every single time I post that Walter is Adam's brother, they say nothing, freaking crickets out there, because I'm like, yeah, I'm right. Anyways.
yeah, I know. I remember I used to yeah.
But so anyway, and then even Walter admits that the woman that he brought to the nursing home was not his mother. So he's already like exposing himself for lying. And I think that like he was just seeing what Misty was going to say. But the whole thing Misty says about Adam's mother and like Adam being a drug addict and all this stuff, like you could tell Walter did not believe one iota of it,
And also, like, now that you mentioned the Sherlock Holmes thing, he's looking for who killed his brother, nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely makes sense. And I want to talk though about like how I want the love story. I mean, in the love story doesn't work out, and it's just like poor Misty, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, really, Walter might be gay, and like, hey, number one, hey, but second off, I definitely think like this whole idea of like how do I say it?
Unrequited.
Yes, there we go. Unrequited love is it just is Misty. That's iconic for her and every relationship she tries. And then the fact that she gets her heart broken again by the same way, because last I cried with her, I cried. And I cried with her with a friend thing too, this where she's like, shut up, Misty, only babies cry, like,
Oh yeah, she's so precious. And I really think like with like the whole thing with Coach Ben, how he did the same thing to her where he was faking it because he kind of had to. And now if Walter's doing the same thing to her, like that's a really traumatizing feeling, for Misty to have to go through multiple times. I actually really think
like,
that Walter and Coach Ben are going to be running on like a parallel storyline this season, and like whatever kind of happens with them is, it's going to be a parallel, and Misty's the common factor, right? So
well, Miss T in the chat. I don't know. Are you doing that because is that your name, Miss T, or are you representing Miss D? Anyway, she's like, oh my God, Walter will die.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So I think that's another thing. Maybe we should see this parallelism between them, the Great Expectations timeline, his Sherlock Holmes comments.
Yeah.
There's another video in that too. Okay. Miss Faye.
That's a good idea. I don't know. And also, while we're on the note of Great Expectations, there is a new show on Hulu of Great Expectations that I've been watching, and it's really good. And it's got Shalom Broom Franklin in it, and she played Morgana in Curse. It's also got the guy who plays Laris, the Clubfoot from House of Dragons. He's in there, so I recommend it. It was good. We've been watching it over here, so. Okay, so a couple thoughts about this moment right here with Misty and Walter is that Okay, so now he's got Misty's phone number and he's also got Misty's fingerprints. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, and then also I was seeing like Misty's like, Walter, have you seen the studio? So what just popped in my head is that like now Shauna and Jeff's DNA is on that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So they go
yeah,
there and
good
destroy
point. The
it,
studio.
but
I'm Shauna over here. The studio. I am Shauna. Like my life is Shauna, you guys. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty funny, actually. It's like the studio.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I don't know if he knew Adam and his studio. He's like, I have an apartment and a studio and a auto shop, and I'm just like, this guy. Okay, I gotta say, I have to be honest, all right? Because I don't think Adam owns his auto shop. I think he just like works there. But okay. Like
Maybe it's a family thing.
realistically speaking, the cops would not be this diligently looking after some missing man who's like, I don't know, 30, 35 years old. If a man just goes missing and stops showing up for work and he's an artist, like Adam's like kind of lifestyle that he leads, he even says in season 1, he's like, I just go with the flow. I don't ask questions. I just go where the, whatever the flow takes me. Like he's that guy. Well, it's like cops are not going to be looking for him that hard. They don't have a body. There's no evidence of foul play. It's just a random guy with no family, no wife, no nothing, just a random artist guy who up and stops going to work and goes missing. Literally, New Jersey cops are going to say, good luck.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. We're like dealing with real problems. Like, good luck finding your brother. So that's why another reason I think that like Walter is, doing his own version of searching. But the whole thing with like Kevin and the other cop and all of that, I just think is such bullshit, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I don't think it's bad writing. I'm sure there's like a reason behind it, but I think realistically speaking, real life, nobody is going to give a shit about a 35-year-old man that just goes missing and stops coming to work. Like there's no reason for them to be looking into it that deep, because that kind of stuff happens every single day for various reasons, but like, that's all. So,
but what would the show be without it,
Exactly. So. But I just think it's kind of funny how like, they're like coming to Shauna's house and, this and that. And I'm just like, no, probably Walter would be, if Walter is his brother, that's going to be the most effective like way of trying to kind of track down the details. So, okay. So let's see. So Walter has fingerprints. He has Misty's number. Yeah, just a lot of things. This did not go well for Misty. She did not come off as the sharper tool in the shed.
You know what's gonna happen though too is, even if Walter, like, if all this is true, right, and Walter goes to the cops, like, they're probably gonna be like, oh, shut up, you know nothing, you know what I mean, like, why should we believe you? Okay, or they'll laugh at him or something, which then does Elijah, does his character, because I mean, he's such a dynamic actor, like, that there's got to be way more to this character. He's going to have like some sort of flip, or some sort of something that happens.
Like, my other thought too was like, if, because of like the whole Moriarty quote, like, again, that ties him to the idea of him potentially being this colorectal surgeon. They say in the quote, like, he has endowed by nature with a phenomenal mathematical faculty. But then, my other thought is like, what if, just like Adam, what if he's just somehow connected to Lottie, and this is just like a man that has, even if he is still Adam's brother, perhaps they're both connected to Lottie, or perhaps, they're involved with her cult or something like that,
Or he's Lottie's famous rich doctor.
Exactly.
Like, he's been doing her dad's colonoscopies for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, and just like I suspect that Lottie sent Adam after Shauna very specifically. It may be that now Walter is, sort of using that as like a reason to to target Misty and get her back there, because I just really feel like Lottie has kind of sent out her minions to get them all back. And I think Nat might also be a way of drawing Misty in, but yeah. Oh my gosh, we've been going for like 2 hours now, you guys.
I know. But it's been really good though, this conversation today. And I mean, way deeper than I thought it was going to be. Like,
yeah, we didn't even, we make these notes, but I don't know if we I don't know. There's just, there's a lot, there's so much to talk about all the time. Like we could really keep going.
We'll try to have it more formatted, but it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. We're going with the flow. We're channeling the Adam energy.
Exactly. Let's pull up a nice, so here's Nat and her Kool-Aid.
Naka.
She's drinking the Kool-Aid. So I mean, yeah, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here. I think we've mostly done about
I'm looking at we can. But I'm looking at the notes, and I mean we pretty much covered everything, I think.
Yeah, and then some. I really loved what you had to say about the Digestif. I think that was an excellent detail that you caught that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. So that was great. I loved it.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe we gotta put out some stuff about it, but yeah, I agree.
We'll come up with a part. We were talking about potentially doing some cooking videos also.
No, we are doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Now, whether it happens during the season, that's another thing. It could be like our off-season project.
Yeah, totally. Make you guys some nice meat meals and some, wilderness tea and
like using we'll put long pig as the ingredient.
I'm trying to get my husband to do some barbecue things. I'd be like, okay, yeah. This,
I mean, in Miami, first off, like Cuba and all the Cubans, like roasting the whole pig is like what we do. Like every Christmas, I would go to my friend's house. Oh, we have to pull a card, Aaron. Get the deck.
Oh, let me go get my card.
Well, I tell the story. But yeah, we used to pull. So we just have them all the time. They like grill the whole pig, and we just put it out there. And like every Christmas Eve, we would go to this huge party. Every year they have this thing, and it's like 100 people, and we have 2 pigs roasting. It's so phenomenal and great. And it is true. Like peeling off that skin is another thing. We eat the skin and crisp it up. And I think that the cooking thing, I want to shout out because there on Twitter, somebody said, "Oh, Jackie, it's like a Jackie fruit," and I'm like, Jackie fruit is now a thing. It's gonna be it's gotta be a thing. Jackfruit, love it.
We've got Jackie fruit and Jackie links.
Oh God, beef Jackie.
Yep.
Beef jerky, Jackie. Hey, jerky Travis, Jackie. Where you at?
I made a meme about it last week. I don't know if you guys caught that, but check out last week.
Well, this week's meme's got to be Shauna. What? With the gun. Like gangster style Shauna. What?
I don't know if I downloaded it into here. I must not have, but shit. Well, never mind. I had a moose thing. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Like we hardly talked about the moose though, but like yeah, I do like the juxtaposition though between the Lottie and the bear, and Nat and the moose. So I do have to like throw that out there.
Yeah, I think
there was like the whole
even
fighting nature versus giving into nature.
Well, I think even Lottie's bees are a nod to that as well, because her having the vision of the dead bees, and I talk about this in my video, is like as a parallel to Nat having this encounter with this sacred animal, the sacred white animal. Okay, we didn't get to talk about this much, and I don't want to get too terribly into it, but
you guys, video.
Yeah, go check out the moose video. But there's definitely a parallel with those two, because Nat's encountering like a sacred white animal that's sacred to like the native people in that area, or that are directly east of that area. Yeah, it just seems like she's sort of like a chosen one kind of energy, or that she's sort of getting a blessing. And I almost even envision the white moose as like an embodiment of the wilderness. I don't know if you guys.
Well, I like the idea of it being the chosen one, because especially when we're talking about the queen's the symbolism. They show the juxtaposition between Lottie and her specifically, where Lottie's the queen now, and then Lottie's talking about the bees, how they eat the queen. Or and then also like a new one takes over. And I really with all my soul want Nat to go through that growth and development and become the new queen once she finds that hole, like, because she's just got so much dynamic in her personality, her background with the killing, the huntress, the gun, her father. I mean, there's so much to go into that. And I just think that that's going to be a great thing for her.
Yeah, whether or not she realizes it quite yet, that's another question. But
ooh, moose reaction.
Somebody made that on Twitter, and I saw it last night at like midnight, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to get that and put it for our stream." It's so funny.
Oh, so, and Luna Cascade, like, taking us off track. Like, I mean, if y'all follow us, if you know us, we're always like off track. And that's the point, is we go down these rabbit holes that like, and we go down them, we go way down them and get deep, and we love it. And we're passionate about it too. So thank you for coming. We love it. We love to find, yes, we want followers. Yes, we care, but we want people who are in depth and get into it. And so we love it. Like, please, you inspire us too. Like your comments have been amazing.
How dare my card deck give us the Fool?
Wait, so like that one popped out though, right?
That one popped out. I just did a 1-card poll, but I love it because okay, we need to know what's gonna happen in episode 4. Absolutely not.
Well, wait, but that one jumped out, so it's gonna be in addition to the one you pull. Right?
I'll pull another one. We'll just
actually intentionally pull one. If that one jumped out at us, that's
that one was an intentional pull. That one was yeah, I shuffled them.
So wait, hold on. We need a directive. So our directive is for what we're gonna get.
So my intention was what's gonna happen in episode 4? What are we gonna encounter in episode 4? Apparently we're not learning anything, but here, I'll read.
No, the Fool is like new beginnings and like a new direction, or not knowing what to expect. So that's pretty much what
it's literally it's the very first card in like the major arcana. So it's like, this is your baby step, like you're about to learn. So you're about to get your life lessons. You're sort of approaching life with like a clean slate. All right.
He's like a beggar, right? Too, like, so we're begging you, Showtime, please don't make us the Fool.
What else is in here? There's an owl in here. I use the Celtic Dragon Tarot.
The Fool's protagonist too of the story. So the great mystery of life.
You kind of look like that.
And we are kind of open to everything. You're right. The Fool's open to everything.
Let me remove this. Yeah.
We were just talking about that. How we'll go down anything, any hole. Like, if you give us a word, we're like, okay, how can we relate this? And like, what we're doing, honestly, we are like literally taking things like a symbolism, and we're reading it, and we're taking things from more there. Are we believing in more than it is? Is it same as Yellowjackets?
This is kind of a great card. Okay, so in the card there's an owl, there's a squirrel, there's a bird, and there's a snake. And usually these are, this is a dragon tarot deck, so it's like, dragon. Obviously there's some large dragons like peeking around, but they're in the middle of the forest, and like,
oh my gosh,
the trees, and then there's like the swirl symbols, the not eternity, but the like life symbol is carved into the rocks and the trees, and that's just perfect. It's actually kind of a perfect Yellowjackets card.
It is
like just standing sort of lost in the middle of the forest, like, okay, now what do we do?
Well, maybe this was our card.
This definitely was our card, but I love it. I just think it's so funny. That's perfect.
Or like, are we like the cardigans?
Tarot deck. This is my precious.
We're like the cardigans right now. Love Fool, love me. Say that you love me. Fool me, give me those theories. Tool me, come on, Yellowjackets. Love. Say that you love it.
Live
so I try and I die for you to eat me.
Exactly.
Or we can do feed me. Like feed me,
Mandy's
feed
gonna come up with a new video for this.
I know, I might have to do it. Feed me, come on, yellow jackets. Fool me with all your theories. Love me. Pretend that I'm Jackie, then eat me. Go on and kill me.
Eat me like a strawberry.
I like strawberries and I jam for you to churn me. Go on and yearn me.
I'm literally
God. I'm like,
we're off on a
you know what?
Just, you guys.
Just segment this and just segment it and drop it.
This is a upcoming shorts video.
Segment it, follow us.
I hope you guys enjoy our weirdness.
I know.
Because we will deliver nothing less.
So I think we're gonna have to add tarot poll and a improv 90s parody to everyone now.
Yeah, music segment and live moose reactions to our tarot polls. I feel like this live moose reaction is going to be like an ongoing thing for us. So the moose is with us. We've let the moose loose. Okay, so let's see. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We should probably wrap it up. I got to go get children and whatever.
So, and we like literally said last week, oh man, doing two episodes and it's gonna be too long. And here we are, like, okay, we'll keep one episode to 1 hour streams, and here we are longer than 2 episodes.
Yeah. But we have fun. You know what? It's Monday.
Monday morning.
Everyone thinks that all the fun happens on the weekends. No, be here Monday morning because we are the party.
Listen, I have fun no matter what the hell I'm doing. I just want to say that. Like, I'm like, and I love that one, Misty. Like, she's playing on the bongos. She's gonna have fun wherever she goes. I literally, I'm a Misty. I'm a Misty.
We're, here. Actually, let me pull up one more. I've got a for us to end on. Hold on, we got to get Jackie.
Jackie fruit. Give it to me.
Hold on, let me loop it. Hold on. Okay, ready? Oh wait, it's not on. I didn't pull it up.
Playing, yeah.
You're like, put it on there. Okay, hold on. I'm just laughing at my own thing that I'm pulling up for you guys.
That's great. Listen, if you don't love yourself, how is anyone else supposed to?
If I don't entertain myself, how am I supposed to entertain you guys?
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. All right, and end the stream.
And there we go. All right. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next week for episode 4. Old Wounds is what it's called, and we will have Van. Hopefully for longer than a moment, but I have a feeling they're just gonna sneak her in right at the end just to messes with us, but you know what? I'll take it. But
all right, ready? Jackie out.
Thank you guys. Oh, here. Jackie out. Bye.